So moving on to our first agenda item, I'd like to introduce Brian Coughlin and Chief Chris Osgood to discuss about public works waste reduction.
Sure. Chris Osgood again. I have the pleasure of serving as Mayor Walsh's Chief of Streets. Is it easier if we sit here or stand there?
Feel free to stand.
So first of all, I just want to echo Maria's comments. We very much appreciate your patience with Hanover Street. It was our last 9 days. For some of you, it was perhaps a noisy 9 days, but it does look great now. We've now done it without your collaboration. We really appreciate that. Similarly, we are very much looking forward to cutting the ribbon on North Square and look forward to inviting you all to that event this coming fall, as Maria said. What we're talking about, though, is sort of trash, recycling, and yard waste collection tonight. And the work that we have in front of us is really, the changes we're looking at are really to achieve three things. One, to give you cleaner streets. Second, to improve the efficiency of trash collection, recycling collection across the city. And third, just to reduce congestion in the PM rush hour. So just to walk through those three things. One of the changes, as hopefully everybody is aware, is to shift your second day of trash recycling and yard waste collection from Friday to Thursday. And actually flip-flop that with street cleaning. So you would now have trash recycling and yard waste collection on Monday, Thursdays, and street cleaning would be on Friday. That allows us, through our street cleaners and through our hookies who are out on the streets, to make sure that your neighborhood really is cleaned up in advance of the weekend, whether that is a feast weekend or any weekend that's happening during the North End. And so all your basic weeks will be Monday and Thursday, with Friday street cleaning as well as hookies. The second big change, in addition to the adjustment from Monday, Friday to Monday, Thursday, is across the city. We're actually starting trash, recycling, and yard waste collection at 6 a.m. rather than 7 a.m. And that's really because what we saw was by having trucks hitting the streets at 7 a.m., we were contributing to more congestion in everybody's AM commute. It slowed up our entire trash recycling and yard waste collection, which meant that you had trash recycling out on your streets, out on your sidewalks for more hours than I know that many of you wanted. Similarly, that meant that because the trucks were slowed up in the beginning, you were often spending time going through the PM commute out on the street, continuing sort of that trash collection and recycling collection. So we think that by having trash recycling and yard waste start 1 hour sooner across the city, having it starting at 6 a.m., we're actually going to be able to get through the routes much more quickly. By starting 1 hour sooner, we hope to be able to be off the streets as much as 2 hours earlier. And that means just simply we'll be much more efficient in the morning. We'll be causing everybody across the city much less confusion and congestion in the afternoons. All of those changes, the switch from Monday, Friday to Monday, Thursday, the street sweeping starting on Fridays, the 6 a.m. trash collection, recycling collection, and yard waste collection start. All those things basically start on July 1. We have been pushing that information out, obviously through community conversations. We appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing to amplify that. We've got posters up across the city. We're doing flyers here that are targeted to the North End. But any sort of ideas that you have about better ways we can communicate that out going forward, we very much appreciate it. And similarly, when July 1 happens, obviously that will kick off a sort of a new approach both in terms of days of week and times of day when we'll be doing collection. We are here to sort of work with you and figure out the right way to optimize those collection schedules and that work to make sure it's really working for all the residents here in the North End. So July 1 is, yes, it is the start of a new schedule, but it is not the end of the conversation, so we very much look forward to getting your feedback after July 1 about the right way to make this all work for all of you. The person who actually leads it, I should be clear to say, is actually the person to my right, Brian Coughlin, who is the superintendent of waste prevention. And it's really his team and his code enforcement team that are out there making sure that all this is happening well. So that's the high-level overview. Any questions that any of you have, we're happy to answer them here, or obviously follow them with the seconds.
I'd like to open up to the council for any questions. Turn it to you.
No, actually.
Yeah.
Is the Boston Municipal Code for the noise standard still in effect? Because right now it's 7 a.m. or 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Any decibels over 50 is considered a nuisance. Any over 70 is considered it's not appropriate. So right now, like literally on your website, it says trash update banner across the website, and then it says what the noise ordinance is. So that's a little confusing.
So the noise ordinance and our environment department can actually speak better to this than I can. Is specific to buildings and unpermitted and things that have not received otherwise received a permit from the city. Since this went through a procurement process and it's not specific to buildings, it follows a different set of sort of guidelines than the specific noise ordinance that you're citing. That said, that's exactly the sort of feedback that's useful for us as we think about what routes make the most sense. Our hope is that obviously we're looking at some of the major arterials sort of at the earlier hours before we actually get into some of the more residential pockets of our city, both in the north
Okay,
and
that's helpful,
across the
because
board.
I actually got a decibel noise thing,
Yep.
and without the trash, it's like at 40, but then next to a trash truck, it's at 90 decibels, which is 20 over what you're saying is appropriate. So I'm just thinking about January, it's a Pats game on a Sunday night, people are gonna wake up an hour earlier. It's just kind of inconvenient. So yeah, if you can stick to commercial routes earlier in the day at 6 a.m., that would be appreciated. And you might, just the website should be updated.
This is our general approach, and there may be some small exceptions, but it's our general approach. We want to do the main arterials,
Yeah.
sort of through those before we then get to the residential side streets. That's across the city, not just sort of that.
You guys are, you're used to being picked up in the morning, and that's gonna continue. There's other sections of the city that aren't so fortunate, and they get picked up at 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon simply because the trucks can't get back from the facilities where they're dumping because they're stuck in traffic at, 10 o'clock in the morning. They're getting to the dump too late. So we wanna get that process a little bit speeded up so we can get back into town to make sure the whole city is serviced. And, you guys are still, it's the north end, but it's also part of a contract that includes Beacon Hill, the south end, Mission Hill, Roxbury. It's a very large area. So it's not just, however many streets are right here that we're focused on. It's a piece of a puzzle that we have to kind of put together. And you guys are getting the same services that you got. Nothing's gonna slack there. There's a new contractor coming in. There's different things going on, but the north end itself is not gonna lose any services or any service levels.
Have you considered that if you're picking up on some streets at 6 a.m., it's usually like degenerate people who aren't waking up early at 6 a.m. to go to work. They're dumping it out at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. after the trash
Yeah,
goes by.
we know that it's gonna happen. It's gonna, when it happens, we're gonna address it, just like we do now. People, this bag across the street, I just took a picture of it. It's 7 o'clock at night, there's trash out. So it happens all day long across the north end, Beacon Hill, south end, everywhere we go. There's trash out there pretty much 7 days a week. And it doesn't have to be a big mess, it could be a bag, but that bag, if it's left out, if someone doesn't use 311, and we don't get to it within 24 hours, then it's gonna be ripped open, and that's where, the conversation begins about the rats and everything else.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that way if things are handled sooner, so.
And that does switching it from Thursday to Friday gives you an extra business day
Exactly.
to take care of it, and then you have the sweet streeper. So I think
Exactly.
from that perspective, Thursday is a good shift. I haven't actually had time to think about the repercussions of actually moving it before the weekend, but I think it makes sense. I know that there's more involved to this, and there's tons of sides to
If
it.
the only trash that's on the street on a Friday morning is just litter and a late put out from Thursday, we'll be able to hit that early and get, everything done. The pokies will be out on the streets pretty much 7 days a week, almost, getting to the curb. And on a Friday morning, now you got, all the delivery trucks will be to the curb. So every Friday I go by and I can't go. Everybody, we're all trying to get around each other. And when you don't have that delivery truck that's in the middle of the street, if he's on the curb, everybody's smooth sailing, and there's no trash for people to step over. You got tourists that aren't stepping on bags. You got yourselves, all the residents in the city that, they're just walking by the sidewalk. It's not gonna be, walking over or like zigzagging through trash bags, so.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I mean, when we had the change to this current contract that expired 5 years ago, it was generally like, people come into the neighborhood on Friday on vacation, and the first thing they're greeted with is trash. Can you perhaps speak to the specifics of this contract? Because I know a lot of the then further complaints that we heard were, trash is at this time, but recycling's still out for another few hours or whatever. Is there another? Is it the same company? Is it? And then after July 1, can that change if we go Thursday's not working? We need to go back. We have to go to Wednesday, or I don't know. Is there things like
So
that?
if you go back 5 years from today, that contract changed dramatically too, because you guys lost the trash day. But you gained the recycling day, so, you know, for the folks that learned how to recycle better, they would put out less trash anyway, so they didn't really need that day. But, so, you know, there was a lot going on citywide with that, so they didn't want to throw in, you know, let's change the day and how you do things, and, you know, there's a lot of communication that would have to happen, so they didn't do that. This time around, it's, let's move the day, let's, you know, the 2 days recycling, everybody's doing great, the recycling rate in the north end is up when we switched, so that's great. You know, I think that the Thursday, what was the last part of that? I'm sorry.
Oh, just in terms of like aligning, it seemed like a pretty frequent complaint we got was that trash is taken care of quite early, but then recycling is like 4 in the afternoon.
Yep.
On Friday.
So Friday, yeah, so again, Friday, like I said, you're part of the north end, Beacon Hill, the south end, Mission Hill. On a Friday, that whole map got covered. On a Thursday, there's only, for this district, there's only Back Bay and Roxbury. So if you throw the north end into that, and we have all the same trucks that we have on a Monday when it's busy, now that creates a lot more assets to put on the streets on a Thursday. So there's gonna be less, you know, the trash should be out and recyclable should be off the streets a lot quicker.
Thank you.
We will see both a better balance of our resources by switching to Thursday, which will help you, and then by starting a little bit earlier, we'll just be a little bit more consistent, because our actual pickup and process will be sort of less slowed up by.
I'm in favor of the change, I know we're gonna hear feedback quite.
And we appreciate the feedback, and we want the feedback.
Exactly.
But we still want the 311 calls, we want the complaints, we want the calls when the trucks are coming down too late. But this is supposed to help improve the quality of life here. This isn't gonna help me. So we're trying to help you guys have a better feel for what the city's doing, you know? And the trash service is pretty important when it comes to basic city services, so whatever we can do to make things more convenient.
We're still looking at 5 o'clock for the, put it out the night before.
Yes.
Because I suspect with a 6 a.m. start, you're probably going to be seeing more going out the night before.
But a lot of people, including the South End communities, are saying, you know, we put it out the day of because we don't want it. We don't want it sitting, but if you go out there Thursday night this week and you see how much trash is out the street, there's a lot out there. So despite the efforts that people make to try to put it out the day of, there's still a large majority of the trash out there the night before. We're going to continue to see that, and we don't mind it too much because we're going to get to it, and then we're also going to get to it after we pick up. It's not going to be Saturday morning and you're looking at, you know, some loose litter and whatever on the ground. We'll be able to get to that on Friday because we're done on Thursday morning, so it gives us a little more time to tidy up.
I was gonna say, speaking to that, we have the Hokies coming around this summer and everything like that, so that will be helping clean up the litter and all the trash.
Also litter baskets, there's gonna be, I'm not sure on the number, there's gonna be additional litter baskets and recycle barrels placed.
So I'll open it up to the audience.
Hi, I had a problem, I'm happy I'm here tonight because of this, because I've had a problem with Bartlett Place. I own the restaurant next door, Tarvia. And ever since Bartlett Place was supposed to be beautified with the trees and the bikes and all that and the beautiful path, that it's become a garbage dump. And I called City Hall and complained. I mean, I just now, I'm sick of complaining, but the problem is that there are people like on Cooper Street, quarter of the way down Salem Street, even Parmenter Street, the other end of Salem, that their landlords are telling everybody to not put their trash in front of their own building, but to dump it at Bartlett Place. And just walk by here and the trash is outside.
You can't see the bike rack.
You can't see the bike rack, and they start on Saturday night. I mean, I've been out there, you know, the hostess thing or whatever, and I tell people, you know, I'm grabbing them before they even can put their trash there. And they're walking from Parmenter Street, they're walking from different streets, and, you know, and I went by once, and like, I took on trash night, there were buildings with no trash in front of them, because they're all about the place. So before it was beautified, it was, you know, a parking area for Dawn's and my restaurant, Terramia. And I mean, everyone said the cars look bad, however, the garbage looks much worse. So I think something needs to be done to let these people know, even all of Bartlett Place, they all bring their trash up there. There was a time when they just left their trash in front of their own door. And, you know, even restaurants, I've seen restaurants bring their trash there. It's too much, something needs to be done. I mean, my customers have to look at it, and it's just not a pleasant sight. I mean, you beautify the area, and it's all it's become is a dump.
7 days a week, pretty much. I know Mondays, Sunday, Monday, and Fridays for that.
Oh, yeah, there's a motorbike there that's,
From last year.
from last year that's
And abandoned
been,
vehicles, so that.
Yes.
yeah, that's been taken, I think it's hooked
Yeah, one
up.
whole year.
It's hooked up, I think it's chained up.
No,
Do the
It's
residents-
not chained up anymore?
Do the residents on the back still use it for the house, or
No.
they walk
No, no, I've got people, there were people on Salem Street, I've seen them,
it? Okay.
not even anywhere near Bartlett Place, taking their trash and bringing it there.
So we can do some targeted.
It's like your dumping area, this is where, so the landlords are telling them, don't put the trash in front of my building, put it in front.
No, I understand that. So
Yeah.
code enforcement's over here almost every day, but we
I've been
do.
complaining about this.
No, I know, but they can, I'll send
For
them
years.
right to that stop to get through the bags to find out where the violators are. You know what I mean?
I even have people, I have 10 barrels
Yeah.
for my restaurant, I even have people put their trash in my barrels. You know, it gets crazy.
Can you just reach out to Brian or Ray? Exactly. And coordinate some educational outreach to those
I've
places.
taken pictures of it, I've sent it, this is disgusting. I actually wish you guys could do something else with the area, and I want to tell you also is that the big tree that you have in that big pot, it's infested with rats, infested. So I've seen them coming in and out of there. I mean, thank God my landlord, he's like redid the whole building basement over, so it hasn't affected me, but it's seeing them run around over there, it's not a pretty sight. So that needs to be cleaned up.
Hi, Ellen Hume from 20 Towson Street. I'll be really, really quick because I know we have a big agenda tonight. Two quick things. We are desperately in need of those Hokies. Thank you to the mayor and to Lydia and the others who made it possible. We really, really need as many as we can get. Thank you. Secondly, we are trying to save Cotillo Park. You know, we're trying to revive it, make it a wonderful community area. Those garbage cans along Mason, did I have it right? Morton Street are a nuisance and a problem to people in the community trying to revive that park. So if you could work with the Friends of Cotillo Park, please, work with us to try to create a better solution than just having all these garbage cans along there. That would be terrific.
Along the
Morton
street.
Yeah, it's just a huge problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to add that I'm glad that you're switching to the Thursday because Friday, the recycling never gets picked up in front of my door. And it sits there the whole weekend. I'm just a block away from the restaurant, Salem and Wiggett, and the trash there, people just think it's, I've opened the bad ones and it's Beacon Hill that have trash there. Beacon Hill, and we get a ticket on our door for it. So, hopefully by Friday, and I called and they said, oh, give them till 6 o'clock. It's Friday, there's nobody going to be
Yeah,
there at
and
6
we
o'clock.
evaluated that stuff too. There's a lot of complaints that
Yes.
came through in the last 5 years about certain things like that.
Right.
And, you know, when you hear the same address over and over and over again, and now it's Saturday morning, and there's
Right.
nobody out there, you know, sometimes we go out by ourselves, grab a truck, just grab it, just to
Yeah.
get it off the street. So we feel like we won't have to do that on a Saturday. You know, we'll be more than
I hope
equipped on a
so.
Friday to do
Right.
anything.
And you switched, I'm glad that you said you switched, did you switch the garbage altogether, different company?
Yes.
So there's one company now doing the entire city. It was the same company that was doing roughly 80% of the city.
Yes.
But now it's also doing this district as well. One quick note, building up with your comment. After July 1, and just frankly all the time, please call 311. It is incredibly helpful for us, but particularly as we head into this new approach, both of new dates and new times, that sort of feedback makes a big difference for us as we refine our operations and technology. So please do call 311 or use the app.
And also one more thing, for the, you know, the holidays now, you get picked up on a Monday, regardless if it's a holiday. So the first Thursday that will be here is 4th of July, so there will be trash collection, just like there is on Memorial Day, just like there is on, any other Monday holiday. So the schedules, that schedule is not gonna change from the holiday schedule. So just a FYI on that.
And Brian, just to
Yeah.
piggyback off that, I'm sure the first couple of weeks, there's gonna be like kind of
Yeah.
forgiveness
Yep.
and everything.
Yeah, there'll be, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, everybody will understand the new changes, just like everybody understood there's no more Wednesday. That was the learning curve for everybody. So, took the day away, where's my day? We'd be going back for weeks, but the goal is to have, kind of,
Sorry, just real quick. Do you work with any like real estate agencies at Tower and things like that? Because I know that it's often, I hear it's not like I don't want to comply, it's that I just don't know. Especially for, we obviously get a lot of groups coming in on a yearly basis and things like that. Just to give that education so when tenants come in, they understand. But
We can do distribution and work with Maria on that, happy to work. If there's folks you want us to reach out to, happy to do that.
and just so they can tell the tenants what to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll touch on Carla's point in terms of like Bartlett Place, like, this says right here, put it outside, so.
There's no dumping, you could put 20 signs on the property if you wanted to, it's not gonna help, but.
I put a sign last year saying it was my own sign, like, no
Yep.
leaving trash here.
Right, there'll be a
No deal.
Yeah, we're doing a postcard, you guys should get to this week or early next week as a reminder for all the changes that, so everybody in the north end will be notified. I'm gonna leave a couple hundred flyers here tonight too, if it would be helpful, we can't hit every business and everywhere across the city, but eventually everybody needs to know what their changes are outside of the north end too. So any, assistance that we could get, with the restaurant, if you had like a spot you can, or a board, or, Starbucks, put it on the board, or Dunks, whatever, just, if we could get some help with that, just get the message across, and we'll do whatever we can with you. Like Chief said, we're not going away after July 1, we'll be more of a partner on July 1, because there'll be more issues. So, with that, I just want to thank you guys for having us, and like I said, if you have any questions, I'll leave my card too, Brian Coughlin, Public Works, and my door's open, my phone's on, so call whenever you want.